So in the last video, we dragged two actors into our stage, and we simply made this ground actor non-movable by unchecking movable in the physics tab for this actor. And then if we take a look at our block actor, we added some very simple behaviors. Just move so he kind of fell downward, and collide with the ground so that he impacted the ground. But we noticed that when we run this simulation here, this block actor kind of goes a little bit crazy. And that's because by default, every single actor has a certain level of bounciness built into it. So if we take a look at our block actor here, and we go to the physics tab and open that up, you can see that we have this bounciness attribute, which is set to 1. Now 1, believe it or not, is still pretty darn bouncy. You actually don't really want to go much higher than 1. You can do a little bit, but you'll notice real quickly when you go higher than 1, things get a little insane, which is quite fun inside GameSalad to experiment with. So let's just see what happens if we take 1 and we turn it down to 0, because there's a very important point here that I want you to be aware of. So we went from 1 to 0, so if we run this simulation, we should expect our actor here to have no bounciness. But we're actually seeing the exact same level of bounciness. And why is that? You have to remember that every actor in GameSalad has bounciness attached to it. So not only does our block character have bounciness attached to it, but our ground is also bouncy. So we need to now go into our ground actor. So I'll just simply double click on the ground actor. And the ground actor also has a physics tab, which we have open here. And we can take this bounciness and turn this down to 0 as well. So if we were to preview this now, both our block and our ground have a bounciness of 0. So we see 0 bounciness happening here. So what was happening before is the move behavior was pushing the block downward, and then all of a sudden there was a little bit of a bounce, knocking the block back upward, and then the move would take over and push it back down, and then we get this endless cycle of it bouncing all over the place. So what you should do now is create a few actors and experiment with different bounciness levels with each one of those actors, and of course turning off movable and non-movable so that some of those actors are solid and some of the actors can move around. Take a few minutes to practice this. You'll actually come up with some really fascinating combinations, getting different actors to kind of move and bounce around your screen.